Hey guys, it's Em here with my 4-year, 5-month lock update. I felt like it was time to come back on here and just check in, show you guys how things are going with my locks. But I'll tell you right off the bat that I am going strong and absolutely loving just the freedom that the journey has given me. So I'll just start off by showing you guys how they're looking. You guys know how it goes. So I'm gonna show the sides. The back. Make sure you can see that. And then the other side. So yeah, I'm happy to be on here and just give you guys like a little check-in with what's happening. So you guys can probably already notice right off the bat that I continue to just let my roots typically just do their thing. I don't care about retwisting that much. I like, once in a while I do like to change up the look by retwisting it, but then usually once I retwisted it, I'm like, I don't like it. It looks too flat and I don't like that. I like volume with my hair. And so usually I just end up going back to like letting it just, once I work out, I don't worry about like making sure that it's like braided properly so they won't like undo like the twist that I just did. Like I just let it go and do its thing. I also, again, once in a while like to retwist just to like overall maintain the shape, but really that has been like very few and far between. Like it's not a concern of mine at all. No, or not a major concern of mine. My big concern though, I will say right now, while I remember, is I've noticed that, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, I noticed that when I'm like changing, sometimes like if I'm changing my clothes, like my lock will get like caught in a strap. Sometimes when I'm sleeping, like I have lately tried to sleep with like silk scarves and stuff like that, but they just slip right off, and I hate wearing those bonnets that like squeeze my head. So I'm like, at the end of the day, my point in getting locks the big point was just to be free of worrying about hair maintenance. So I do recognize that my actions, like me sleeping without proper like silk cap or satin bonnet or something like this, I do recognize that there are risks with that, like from getting extra lint in the back of my hair to like pulling my hair at night and things like that. I do recognize that, but at the end of the day, my reason why I did it, that it's okay, like I'm fine with that. But I have lost like the ends of quite a few locks from that. I want to say to date I probably lost about like the ends of 3 locks, like maybe like this much hair, and it's usually the locks around the edges, because that's where my hair is kind of like weakest. I mean overall my hair is like 4C hair, but I do find that my locks are like probably like the most weak, or like maybe a little looser of a curl pattern, very slightly looser of a curl pattern around the edges of my locks. And I think that's true for edges of my head, but I think that's true for a lot of people. So like these locks tend to be thinner, and like versus like the top, where like a lot of my locks at the top maintain the same thickness throughout. But then if I go to like, I'm trying to give you guys an example. This is like, you see it like there's not much consistency with the way this lock is. So like again, like I expect to lose more ends. Like I have some that I can feel are like getting thinner. I'm trying to feel if I can find some while I'm recording this, like where like I'll have like a really thin part here, because like this is like the part that would get stuck. So like I'm changing, gets caught in the strap, and then I feel like a yank, and I'm like, oh, that's not gonna be it's not gonna be good. But yeah, there are things I could do to prevent it. I actually do have something I will show you guys in a separate video, but I guess I can show you for a second. This scarf has really been helpful. I did lose it for a little while. I need to like get more, but I did lose this for a while. So while I didn't have that, I was continuing to like rip the lock. But this thing has been an absolute lifesaver. So I will be back. I actually, right after I record this video, I'll do a video showing you guys that, because that head scarf wrap thing is absolutely amazing. It's perfect for somebody who's too lazy to want to deal with dealing with actual head wraps like in the normal way. So Um, but yeah, so that's kind of like the big thing. And I don't usually, I usually give like advice per se about like locks, but I would say please like look out for your locks if you want to maintain those ends. If it means a lot to you to really see all the growth you can, please be careful when you're changing or sleeping, because for me that it is what it is. It's okay. But just something to keep in mind. And again, like if I can find another lock, there's actually, and I've actually with some of those locks, I've done something that I probably shouldn't do, but I do it anyway because I'm gonna lose the lock anyway. This is an example. This lock I'm gonna lose. It's from the last row in the very, very back of my head. It's a very unhealthy, very sad lock. I think this was one of the ones I formed from like the tiny little beady beads in the back of my head. Like I like formed this lock, and I can see that like it was probably not meant to be a lock. I should just let that hair loose anyway. So like you can see this is a sad lock, but it's holding on. And so I refuse to give up on it until it gives up on me. So, but you'll see like this would have broken off already a long time ago, but I tied a knot. This will probably fall off like, I'm guessing in the next like couple weeks, probably. So, so I've already like said my goodbyes. So it's fine. It's again fine. It's in the way back there. The hair in the back always tends to get more lint anyway, so if I lose that, it's fine. But in the meantime, like really what matters to me, like in terms of like determining the health of my hair, is like looking at the top and like the middle. So like basically we're not talking about like the outer perimeter of my hairline. Like once I get more towards the middle, that's what matters to me to know whether I'm on the right track. Like yes, like I won't like lose it if like the back breaks off and stuff like that, but I do want my hair to be healthy. I do, if I'm gonna have it, I want it to be like in decent condition. That being said, I have not been consistently oiling my locks at all. Typically my moisturizing routine, like if I'm like I desperately need to moisturize my locks, what I typically will do is I will wet my locks, same as I have done for like years now. I'll wet my hair, and then once it's like just like a little wet, just like enough, so like I'll go to the sink sometimes like in a very classless way and just like splash the water, get it into my hair just enough, just like kind of coat the lock a little bit, and then I will massage a little bit of castor oil into the locks. And I find that that really works for me. Like right now, I just did it before making this video, and my locks actually feel very like soft after I do that. So I found that that's very helpful, but I haven't been doing that consistently over the last, like, I'd say the last few weeks, no, the last few months. Like it used to be like, okay, I was doing this like twice a week. And then I go from that to like, maybe I remember every 2 weeks, you know? So that's kind of where I've been with that. Yeah. And it's probably not good also combined with the fact that I do go swimming. So, with that, like I do have to like make sure I'm being more consistent with that, but right now so far I'm feeling good about like how the locks, like during like in the more like inner part of my hair are doing. Like there's a more consistent like look to them. The ends don't look very weak to me like the ones like around the edges do. So as long as for me, like that's kind of my measure for it, so to me that's fine. But yeah, like I want to make sure to show you guys like how the hair is doing up here. Again, like I like to let my hairline just do its thing. I literally I don't know, I just like feeling free about the whole thing. So that's how they're doing. But you might notice though that like I still have my parts, my original parting has still maintained nicely, like which does matter to me. That part does matter. So like, which is why after I've like washed my locks, like I'll make sure to like once they've dried, or at least once the scalp has dried, like I'll make sure to like separate them if they blend together in the washing process or the drying process, which I really just air dry them, though in a way I guess it depends on like the season. Like I'll try to like maybe I'll do like a little blow drying in the winter, but not really. But that's beside the point. But anyway, I make sure to like separate the locks. Just that way I can like that way like I can make sure that like I've done what I can to maintain those partings, because I do like the size of my locks. Though I think if I were to do them again, no, actually I would still like this size. At first I had wanted like smaller locks, but I think with my hair type and the fact that I'm so inconsistent in how I maintain them lately, yeah, it's probably best that I went with this size. Um, and actually in some of them, like I'd be tempted to double up. It just depends. Like some of the locks I'm just willing to let go. Like the one in the back, like that really sad one. Like if that goes, I probably won't like create another lock in its place. Like I'll just let that hair in the way back here, I'll probably just let it do its thing. So, um, but let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so as far as like what products I'm using, that actually has not changed at all since my last video. Like I'm still using my castor oil for moisturizing both my scalp and the actual like body of the locks themselves. I'm using the tea tree. There's like a tea tree shampoo that I found at Target. I don't really sweat the kind of products I'm using now. Like I'm not really that worried about it. Like I think there was a time in the journey where I was so like I didn't trust the process, which I mean I've never done this before, and like I've had the kind of hair that like it's so sensitive and like so prone to breakage. For me, like I didn't trust that any process worked for me and worked to allow my hair to thrive and be healthy, and especially certainly not to grow. So for me there was such a deep distrust of the process, and like so I really wanted to see how things would go. So like I was really scared to get any part of it wrong in any way, and so I was like trying to like go by the books and like listening to like, okay, they say don't do this, okay, this person doesn't, like I'm trying to like of course like still carefully filter out information. Like I mean there's some ideas on that are suggested for locks. I'm like, there's no freaking way I'm doing this, but at the same time like trying to be open to information. But yeah, now that I've seen it, now that I've experienced this, now that I've like gone through this journey and I've seen like because actually documenting, I actually was able to witness my growth in my hair and the health of my hair much more clearly. And so I now know that like whatever, like if I just like one day I was like I'm buzzing it all off and starting again, like I trust that that would work. I trust that like I can end up having locks again. And I know that down the line I'll get to like having locks that probably look like this or something like that. And so I realized that the process works for me. So like long story short, I'm not worried about like making mistakes with my hair. And like even more so, like I think my brain has come to the point where I'm like, it's just hair in a way, and in a way like it's just hair in a way that like things can happen to it. And like, but I know that like if something does happen, like locks do matter to me, and like in the way that they've given me like I feel like such confidence in like I know I've said this before, but I really feel this way like in my own beauty, and like I like learning to really discover and like own my own like the way I am, to own my beauty, to own like the texture of my hair, which like was like very pretty much rejected by people in my life and everything, like just like the type of hair I had. Like, you know, we all have like the relatives that are like, you need to get that hair straightened and all this type of stuff. Like we've all had, like, I mean, or at least many of us have had these people who've said things like this. And like to finally discover for myself that like this thing that people said was so awful about my hair and how it was just like, oh, I would never want that kind of hair. Like to me, I'm like, I love it. And like, I am strong enough to have this kind of hair. I'm strong enough to rock this kind of hair. And I enjoy it. I really do. And it's just like, it's become such like a free part of my life. And so like, it's cool to know, like, even if like, whatever push comes to shove, like I can do this again and I can make this happen. But that being said, I have no intention of starting my locks over again. Like I intend to rock these for as long as whenever, until they decide to fall out, and I'll do it again. If the rest of them, if the others were going the way of the other locks, like I'd still be like, I'm cool. So I don't know if any of that made sense. But anyway, okay, back to the product. So Yes, I like the tea tree shampoos. I have been using the um I do like use Dr. Bronner's from time to time. The Dr. Bronner's I like the lavender one, lavender castile soap. So I'll use that. And then always after washing, I follow up with some castor oil after I've dried it for a little bit. So I'll like, just wrap in a towel, maybe do some things around the house, um and then I will go back to like getting my like doing a nice little proper massage with my locks. The interesting thing though, I find that when I've washed my hair, sometimes my locks, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Sometimes like my locks feel dry right after, even after I like moisturize, like the next day they'll feel dry. But I find that second time that I like wet my hair, like maybe like the next day or the day after that, I wet my hair, like maybe a day or two after I've washed it and then I moisturize it, like that moisture really holds in. So I don't know if that drying process or the washing process is just stripping my hair so thoroughly that it just like um it just takes a while to like get to a place where it can be like properly moisturized again. So I'm not sure what that is, but either way I'm working with it. But those are those are the big points. I'm so glad I remembered to talk about the hair ripping out. I'm glad I remember to talk about that. But if you guys have any questions for me, anything that you want to know, like you know I'm here. You know I'm happy to answer your questions and see your comments and all that good stuff. I'm still around. I'm still around. If you have any video requests, also feel free to leave those below. If you can find the comment section. But I hope you guys are staying safe out there. I know everything is absolutely crazy, but I hope that you're staying safe, staying healthy. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing for any of us who made it this far in this crazy year. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another update, or if you guys have requests in between then, um, I'll be back sometime soon. But yeah, please, like I said, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk with you guys next time. Bye for now.